Welcome back to another nerdy list. This time we'll be counting down the top 10 magical girls, the superheroes. Top 10 magical superheroes. Although, top 10 magical girls would be interesting too. Although she did not make the cut, I would just like to give a shout out to my girl Scarlet Witch, who is mostly magic in her name only, considering that she is a mutant. She is magically awesome though. If you like magic and want more videos about the different types of superheroes, maybe cosmic, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Number 10. Zachary Zatara. The little cousin of Zatanna Zatara, Zachary shares many of his cousin's abilities and talents. He also performs magical stage shows when not using his powers to fight villains. Unlike his cousin, he is quite a bit more bratty, having almost no modesty and is almost always depicted as thinking fairly highly of himself. He has been a member and ally of the Teen Titans in the past, but it is obvious that he gets on his teammates' nerves even more than they seem to get on his, making this relationship quite rocky. He appeared in Zatanna's comic series in Volume 3, Issue 4, where the two team up to fight a demon who plots to steal Zatanna's soul. Number 9. Black Widow. No, not that Black Widow. The other one. That's right, I'm talking about Clairvoyant, who has been around in the comics since the 1940s, meaning that she actually predates Natasha Romanoff's existence in the comics. She also is not one origin story, but two. When she was originally written into the comics as a villain, a witch, and a Satan worshipper who killed innocents. And it wasn't until she was rewritten that she became a superhero who aided the Allies in World War II. She was even glorified by Timely Comics in her story, as they were hired to write up comics about her based on the events of the war as propaganda. Number 8. Shakira. No. Not that Shakira. A companion to Travis Morgan, the warlord in DC Comics. We are first introduced to this magical woman on the plains of Skartaris. She has the abilities to shapeshift into a black cat, and while we never find out exactly how she got this ability or why she has it, it is hinted that it may be a result of an alchemist's experiments. Anyways, Shakira exists in the New Earth universe and is a character from the 80s comic series titled Warlord, so it's probably not best to overthink her origins. It is even suggested in the comics by Travis that she may be a cat who can transform into a woman. Huh. Number 7. Madame Xanadu. Descended from gypsies, Madame Xanadu cast a spell on Merlin and as a result had her magical abilities reduced. She now uses her powers to atone for mischief and grief she caused in the past, and is often a helpful and all-seeing fortune teller to those who seek her. A fun and unique character, she won her immortality after she beat death in a card game. And she has also been mystically intimate, that's a thing, with Spectre. I'm not joking. Yeah, that was like a whole thing. Number 6. Captain Britain. Also known as Brian Braddock. Captain Britain was granted his powers by Merlin and his daughter Roma as he lay dying. The mystical father and daughter team offered him the Amulet of Right or the Sword of Might. Being a brilliant student of physics and not really feeling himself like a sword kind of guy, the dying Brian chose the amulet, which granted him his powers. Brian's powers are tied to the British Isles themselves and give him superhuman strength, durability, agility, and flight. He is also super smart. Although not mystical in nature, Captain Britain was given these abilities through magic. If you were wondering why the name Brian Braddock sounds so familiar, it might be because you are thinking of Spider-Man UK from Earth 833, Billy Braddock. Although the two are separate entities in the comics, it's possible that Billy Braddock is an alternate version of Brian. Maybe. Number 5. Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is Kent Nelson, who appeared back in the comics in the 1940s. He was originally granted his powers by Nabu the Wise, an ancient being who is actually one of the Lords of Order, who became one of the first groups of sentient beings shortly after our universe formed. Nabu gifted Kent his helmet, known in the comics as the Helmet of Fate, and this helmet holds most of Dr. Fate's powers as it allows Kent to meld with Nabu while wearing it, granting him a much mystical power. He is a founding member of the Justice Society of America, which acts to defend and protect the United States. This society was actually created during World War II as a result of Dr. Fate and the team working together to stop Hitler from using the supernatural Spear of Destiny. Number 4. Brother Voodoo. Jericho Drumm only became Brother Voodoo when he returned to his birthplace of Haiti after 12 years of studying and working in the United States as a psychologist. His brother Daniel, the resident Hungan, was dying as a result of a spell that had been placed on him by a rival. After his death, Jericho took his place and became Brother Voodoo. He first appeared in the series Strange Tales Volume 1, and shortly after his appearance even had an adventure in the series where he took out the famed Baron Samedi, or at least a voodoo doctor pretending to be Samedi. His powers include teleportation and, when calling upon his dead brother, spirit possession. Jericho is also an ally to Doctor Strange in the comics, even once rising an army of the undead to help Strange defeat a horde of vampires. Number 3. Shazam. With the film version of this superhero already receiving tons of positive feedback in regards to its preview screenings, I couldn't make a top 10 magical heroes list without including Shazam. The new film, which will see its theatrical release on April 5th, has already beaten Aquaman's gross earnings for its early screenings, and there is still time to rake in more money before its full theatrical release. Shazam is of course actually Billy Batson, a youth who is chosen as the champion of the old gods and granted magical abilities by a man known as the Wizard, or Valerum, or Mamaragan, or Shazam, depending on what you're reading. Although his abilities aren't mystical in and of themselves, they do originate from the world of magic. Did you know Shazam is actually an acronym for the gods/heroes who grant Shazam his abilities? Now, can you name them all? Number 2. Doctor Strange. Sorcerer Supreme, the master of the mystic arts, and formerly known as the master of black magic. Wait, huh? That's right. When Doctor Strange was originally introduced in Volume 1, issue 111 of Strange Tales, he was referred to simply as the master of black magic. And we didn't get an origin story for his first appearance either, but more of a magical detective case. Strange has had many adventures since he was first introduced in the comics. He even teamed up with DC villain Dr. Von Doom in the crossover comic Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment, becoming Doom's teacher in the mystic arts, and Strange also helped him in an attempt to free Victor's mother from the evil Mephisto. Number 1. Zatanna. The daughter of the famous magician Giovanni Zatara, Zatanna demonstrates both skill as an illusionist while performing as a stage magician and skill as a superhero with her magical superpower abilities, making her one of the best at any type of magic. When it comes to being iconic, Zatanna is also as well known for her iconic look as she is her abilities. She is typically seen sporting a top hat, white gloves, coattails, and fishnets, going with a very classic stage magician look. Despite this, when she first appeared outside the comics in the 1993 animated Batman series, it was without her famous fishnets or her famous magical abilities. What the Zatanna has many different relationships with a wealth of heroes, whether it be as a respected colleague to the Justice League, as an ex-lover to John Constantine, or as a sometimes paramour and old childhood friend of Batman. Zatanna performs so much magic, she even at one point went through addiction counseling in the Seven Soldier series, feeling as though she was becoming a spellaholic. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. With so many magical villains and heroes to choose from, I want to know who your favorites are in the comments below. If you aren't already, please also be sure to tap that subscribe so you can be first to comment on all our nerdy videos. This is Top 10 Nerd, and my name is Amanda McKnight, reminding you as always to stay nerdy, YouTube.